Unplanned or finally official. Jayna's overnight stay at Ginny's condo is now the hottest topic online, and fans are torn between excitement, suspicion, and full-on celebration. The timeline is messy, the details are blurry, but the emotions, they're explosive. And as we dig deeper, it becomes clear that this wasn't just a random moment. Something happened between the two that night, something that shifted everything. It all began on a quiet Thursday evening. Ginny had wrapped filming earlier than expected, choosing to skip the usual dinner with the crew and head straight home to her condo. She had been unusually low-key the entire week, posting only short Instagram stories of late-night tea and comforting playlists. Fans thought it was just exhaustion from work, but those who knew how Ginny expressed emotion could tell she was waiting for someone. Meanwhile, Jayna had been filming across the city. Her hours were longer, her scene emotionally heavy, and by 10 p.m., she still hadn't left set. But around 10:42 p.m., she quietly slipped out the back entrance to avoid fans and media. And instead of heading home, Jayna entered a private car with tinted windows that drove directly toward Ginny's building. What happened afterwards startled everyone. A fan who lived in the same condominium complex innocently shared a post. "I think I just saw Jayna heading to Ginny's floor. Maybe they're practicing lines." Within minutes, the comment section exploded. No scripts, no meetings scheduled, no staff with her. Jayna had gone alone. By the time midnight arrived, Jayna had not left the building. By 2 a.m., she was still inside. And by sunrise, fans realized the truth. Jayna had spent the entire night with Ginny. But here's where everything becomes more intriguing. People who saw Jayna enter the building mentioned she looked tense at first. Her bag hung low on her shoulder, and she kept adjusting her hoodie, as if unsure whether she should even be there. When she reached Ginny's door, she paused for nearly a full minute before knocking. When Ginny opened the door, witnesses described the shift immediately. Ginny's expression softened. Her shoulders relaxed. She reached out, touching Jayna's arm gently, as if silently asking, "Are you okay?" And Jayna nodded, barely holding back her emotions. Whatever she went there for wasn't casual. It wasn't friendly small talk. It was personal. Inside Ginny's condo, the two spent hours talking. Not rehearsing, not planning work schedules, just talking. There were soft voices, occasional laughter, moments of silence, and one small moment when Ginny turned on music so no one outside could hear. It was a long, vulnerable, unfiltered conversation between two people who clearly mattered to each other. Around 3 a.m., the lights dimmed. Jayna's shadow moved across the living room toward the balcony where Ginny was standing. They talked again, this time leaning close, as if words had begun to feel unnecessary. And from then on, neither of them moved toward the exit. Jayna didn't pick up her bag. She didn't put on her shoes. She didn't even glance at the door. She stayed. But the morning after is what truly set the internet on fire. At 8:17 a.m., Ginny posted a photo on her story, a cup of coffee on her balcony next to a second cup with a different milk-to-coffee ratio, and a caption that simply said, "Mornings feel lighter today." Fans recognized the second cup immediately. The ratio? That was Jayna's. That was the way she always ordered her coffee on set. By 9:05 a.m., Jayna quietly slipped out of the building wearing the same clothes from the night before. No manager, no security, just her, holding a small paper bag that looked like it came from Ginny's kitchen. She looked tired, but peaceful. The kind of peace people only have when they've finally said something they've held in for too long. What did they talk about? Nobody knows. But sources claim the conversation revolved around where they were going next, not as co-stars, not as business partners, but as two people who had been dancing around something real for a very long time. Some say Jayna confessed something that night. Others say Ginny was the one who finally asked the question they'd both been avoiding. And some believe, judging from their expressions the next day, that something between them finally shifted into place. Whatever happened, the change was obvious. Later that afternoon, during a live interview, Ginny smiled differently whenever Jayna's name came up. Not her usual playful smile, but a softer one. A knowing one. The kind that says, "I've been waiting for this." And Jayna, she didn't even try to hide anything. When asked how her night was, she laughed under her breath and said, "Restful. Very restful." Fans caught the way her fingers brushed her collarbone, exactly where Ginny had lightly tapped her the night before. One reporter bravely asked, "Is there something happening between you and Ginny?" Instead of denying it as usual, Jayna simply said, "Some things are worth keeping close to the heart, until the right time." No denial, no avoidance, just truth wrapped in subtlety. By evening, hashtag Jayna stayed and hashtag Jayna night began trending in multiple countries. Fan pages erupted with theories. Celebrities even began chiming in, with one close industry friend posting a cryptic story, "When two people stop fighting what they feel, everything makes sense." So what really happened that night? Was it unplanned? Was it long awaited? Or was it finally official? From the looks of it, that overnight stay wasn't a coincidence. It was a moment years in the making, a turning point between two women who have always shared more than what the camera could capture. And now, the world is waiting for what comes next. The internet barely had time to recover from the first wave of rumors when things took another unexpected turn. By morning, Ginny's condo building was filled with movement, staff rushing, cars coming in and out, and, according to witnesses, a familiar pair of sneakers peeking out from behind tinted windows. Everyone assumed it was Ginny. But what shocked fans was the second pair, soft beige sandals that fans immediately identified as Jayna's favorite pair, the one she wore during rehearsals and quiet cafe dates. People who lived in the building claimed they had seen the two women just minutes apart. Ginny had walked in first, hoodie pulled over her head, eyes glued to her phone. Jayna followed later, carrying a small tote bag and a paper bag from Ginny's favorite bakery. Those details alone were enough to send the internet spiraling, but nothing prepared anyone for what came next. Around lunchtime, a resident who lived on the same floor told reporters that the usual silence of Ginny's condo was broken that morning. There was laughter, light, muffled, and unmistakably two voices blending together. One sounded like Ginny, the other, soft, warm, and absolutely Jayna. Nobody knew what the two were doing inside, but the fact that Jayna stayed the entire night and was still there the next morning raised questions nobody could ignore. Were they working? Were they celebrating something? Or was this the moment fans had been waiting for, the moment where hints became proof? The story deepened further when Ginny's personal assistant arrived with an armful of fresh flowers and food containers labeled with both Ginny and Jayna's names. It wasn't just a casual drop-off. This looked like preparation, like the kind of setup you make for someone staying longer than a quick visit. Rumors exploded even more when a delivery rider posted online that he delivered a package addressed to both of them. The label read, "To G&J, congratulations, you two deserve this." No one knows what was inside the box, but fans still haven't stopped debating whether it was from a close friend, a co-star, or someone from their inner circle who clearly knew something the public did not. Inside the condo, the atmosphere was different, soft, personal, and filled with unspoken clarity. Ginny had always been the composed one, the calm force, but today, her voice was lighter, almost playful. Jayna, who usually acted shy around cameras, looked more relaxed, comfortable, like someone who didn't need to hide anymore. They cooked together in the kitchen, their movements slipping into a natural rhythm as if they'd been doing this for months. Ginny teased Jayna for adding too much sugar to the sauce. Jayna nudged her back, laughing, saying it tasted better that way. It was a simple moment, but it held a quiet intimacy they never publicly showed before. Later, they sat by the window, sipping tea while the city moved below them. Ginny leaned back, her shoulder brushing Jayna's, and Jayna didn't shift away. If anything, she leaned closer. The silence between them wasn't awkward, just warm. Silent understanding filled the air. This wasn't forced. It wasn't for publicity. It wasn't staged. This felt real. They talked about how exhausting the past months had been, how rumors never stopped, how every step they took was watched, analyzed, and interpreted. Jayna quietly admitted she didn't want to keep pretending there was nothing between them. Ginny looked at her, eyes soft, and told her she didn't want to hide either, not anymore. By late afternoon, they took another small but meaningful step. Ginny opened her wardrobe and cleared a section, just enough space for someone else. And Jayna, with a small smile, placed her spare jacket, the same one fans always recognized, right there in the empty space. A simple gesture, but full of words neither of them had to speak aloud. When the sun began to set, Ginny walked Jayna to the balcony. For a while, they stood side by side, watching the lights flicker across the city. Ginny reached out and gently took Jayna's hand, not tightly, not urgently, but with the ease of someone who finally felt safe to show what she felt. Jayna didn't pull away. That moment was quiet, hidden from paparazzi, unseen by fans, but it was the moment everything shifted. Not just a visit, not just an overnight stay. This was a choice, two hearts choosing each other again and again behind closed doors. And though they said nothing publicly, everyone could tell something had changed. Something real, something intimate, something that no rumor could exaggerate and no denial could erase. By the time Jayna finally stepped out of the condo later that night, wearing the same clothes she arrived in but with a new softness in her expression, fans already sensed the truth. Her eyes held a glow they hadn't seen in months. And behind her, just barely visible through the dimly lit hallway, was Ginny, standing in the doorway, watching her leave with a look that spoke louder than any confirmation. The world didn't need an announcement. They had seen enough. Something had shifted between Ginny and Jayna. Something unplanned. Something real. Something that finally felt official, even if the words weren't spoken yet. They weren't just close. They weren't just co-stars. They weren't just rumors. Not anymore.